Hi, welcome to 5 Minutes with Bo Hansen. Hopefully you've returned safe and well from what has ultimately been a most unusual time for all of us. We put together what we believe to be the critical things for you to focus on as a coach when returning to your role as a coach and working with your team for what is ultimately going to be a new season for you. Now, no doubt teams have dealt with this scenario differently across all different sort of sports and competitions that they're part of. Hopefully you have all returned safe and well and you're ready to commence your new season. And the number one thing I'll be focusing on is when I get my team back together is to reset what our goals are. It is a different time. There are new protocols in place. There are different challenges that you're going to be facing. So getting everyone back on the same page and focused on a common goal is the most important thing in order to start your progress as quickly as possible. So reset your goals, and if you've worked with us before, you'll also know that that's going to translate into resetting and redefining, perhaps, at least recalling and remembering what are your key values, your match-winning qualities that you as a team want to strive for and live in order to give you the best possible outcome for your new season. So reset your goals. The second key thing I'd be focusing after resetting our goals is to reconnect with all of your athletes, your student athletes, your players, and for you to reconnect with your fellow coaches as well. So as you know, if you've done DISC before, it's a great time to revisit with your profile, rediscover what are the key ways to work with different individuals, and have an open and transparent conversation about what works for me, what works for you, and how we can adapt to suit what the needs of the team are. So try to develop some strategies, do things outside of your sport to reconnect with your team. Any team development activities that can re-engage people and reconnect their relationships. As you know, relationships are a performance factor. It's not just a nice to have, it is an absolute performance factor. So look at reconnecting all of those critical relationships within your teams. The third part of this is re-establishing what everyone's role is. When we talk about roles, we talk about what your technical role is, so that is the position that you play. And we also talk about what your non-technical role is. So what are all of those unique qualities that you bring to a team from a DISC perspective, whether you're the driver of the team, the standards holder, the energy driver, the stabilizer who brings harmony, or the person that brings the focus on the data and the analytics and the process. Re-establish with all of your student athletes and your fellow coaches exactly what role we're all going to play in achieving our team's goals and how those relationships are going to combine and work together, and especially establish where there's some conflict within roles and you have different people wanting to play those roles. Sometimes it's just about remembering how it worked in the past, and for all of your new student athletes, it's about establishing what role you want them to play in the future so that when everyone goes out onto the field to actually compete or onto the court to compete, that people have total clarity on exactly what their job is. The final part is re-establish what your processes are. Processes are those critical elements that remind your team about how you communicate, how you give feedback, the time you turn up for practice. It's about re-establishing your processes, routines. What we found to be really different with all of the athletes in Australia coming back to practice now is that the processes have fundamentally changed. Hygiene, for example, is at a much higher and stricter level than what it was before. Forms that athletes had to fill out, if they're not complete, if you haven't done certain online programs and courses, whatever it is for you, these are all examples of processes that are in place to keep us safe, to keep us healthy, and to make sure that we can compete on our teams. So remind your student athletes what the critical processes are for your team and update them on any new ones that have come out as a result of the COVID-19 crisis. So I hope that these small reminders about the critical things to get right for your team are a little bit of an inspiration to just keep you on track and hopefully to fast track your progress to what ultimately will be a fantastic season for you all, and being grateful for the opportunity to do the sports that we all love.